All right, Haven Ford. We, I guess, officially have reached the off season after a magical run through your
Mhm.
sophomore year there at Murray State. We talked to Coach Rochelle Turner a week or so ago. She said, we as coaches they got no time to celebrate, enjoy the fruits of all their labor and getting to the NCAA tournament and winning a championship.
Mhm.
She said, "Boy, my players had a good time." So, what has sort of the post, hey, we win the Missouri Valley tournament, we get to go to the NCAA tournament for the first time as a group. What has that all been like for you and your teammates?
It's been great just to be able to reflect on that. We still, when we are at the gym together, we still share those stories of like we'll be lifting weights in this post season workouts, and we're still talking about like the last few minutes of the championship game or the runs that we had, going into that game and stuff like that. And it's special. We obviously we all were like, all right, we got to get our rest. We didn't. Nobody touched the ball, I don't think, when we got back, and we really took those 2 weeks off just to give our bodies a rest, but also just kind of remember those moments, and it was special. And so when we got our first workout, was tough for us because we again hadn't been in the gym, hadn't touched the ball, hadn't shot or anything for 2 weeks, and we all were like, you know what? Usually we would regret feeling like this, but we actually feel like we deserve to feel like this because we're going to take our break. So, but it's been good.
When you come to college, I'm sure somewhere in the back of your head, like every kid that's ever played college basketball, I want to play in the NCAA tournament one day. You
Mm-hmm.
got to do it at the end of year two. At what point in the journey did the hopes and dreams of maybe someday I get to play in the NCAA tournament turn into this might actually happen?
It was definitely the middle of the season. Coming in, I was thinking, okay, possibly, at the end of my 4 years, by that time, we'll have it all figured out, and that's plenty of time. Like 4 years, like we can get it done, and just seeing how much, like how good we were this year, it really hit. Like we started beating teams who we hadn't beat, how we struggled against, and then we got over that hump, and we just kept getting over those humps that we had struggled with in the year past. And I'm like, okay, we got something special here. Like we can actually get this thing done. And so when we came down that last stretch of beating Belmont, we had to win like the last that brutal stretch of like 2 weeks where we had to get those wins. After that, we going into the tournament. I'm like, okay, this is our time. Like we can get it done. And so that's really when I kind of knew. Now, if you would have told me that coming in after senior year, like you're gonna be playing an NCAA tournament your second year, I've been like, whoa. Ain't no way, but for it to just go like already happen was something special, and it was a childhood dream of mine. I'd watch the brackets come out. I was the one filling out the brackets, keeping up with it day to day, and so to see your name up there with it was special.
When boy, it was such a uh, you always almost expect a championship game to go down to the end, but you guys, it was tight, and then it wasn't. And
Hmm.
Belmont, waves the flag and says we're done, and you guys get to get the curtain call walking off. When you get to that moment and you're on the bench with your teammates and you're able to just kind of soak those final moments in, and then the buzzer sounds and the celebrations on. Just can you describe just those feelings that
Hmm.
you went through, and certainly the amount of work you guys have gone through in preparation for this moment was pretty immense.
Definitely some happy tears. Some, we were laughing about it. We were smiling, joking through it. Like it's something that we had at the beginning of the year had put on our little goal sheets of our team bonding and stuff like that. Of we're gonna win like a Missouri Valley championship, and to be those like have those moments away of actually getting to experience that. It was just like words couldn't describe it in the moment. Like our emotions were kind of all over the place, but it was something that we knew that we could cherish forever. And it just felt like a relief of like you try so hard, you go through the ups and downs of every season, and just knowing like as the clock wind down and we're throwing the ball up and celebrating it, it was just like a relief have came off, but it was just so much joy in those moments.
You dislocated your finger in that championship game, gruesomely, and God bless you for being able to fight through that, poking through the bone, and we got you back out on the floor. And I had nothing to do with it. Yeah, a lot of very trained medical professionals able to get you back on the floor. But just now that we're 6 weeks or so past, how's the finger? Everything okay?
Yes, it's definitely getting better week by week. I'm starting to get rotation on my shot just through the workouts, and that was my number one concern. Like coming off of it was just how much of like range of motion am I going to get back, and it's going to be a long process, and it may not ever be back to normal again. But it's just kind of getting comfortable with it, finding that new norm, and just trying to do all that I can to at least play through it without it like the mental battle of it. But it's we're doing good. We're getting checkups on it, and everything's looking good. No infection, none of that. So it's just kind of figuring out this new norm of the swelling isn't going to go down anytime soon in it, but I'm still able to use it a lot better than the first few weeks.
Worth the trade off? Above
Oh,
finger?
100%. 100%. 100%.
What was your NCAA tournament experience like? Getting to go to Oklahoma and play in Iowa.
It was big for me. It was just, again, I felt like just a little kid. You watch those moments on TV and you only see the games through TV, but going behind the scenes of just getting flown out, and then we get to the hotel. The hotel's decorated in March Madness stuff. The gear that we got when we got to the gym, and we got to take all that stuff home, and just even the little things like the March Madness social media page just posting about us and having our logo up there. It was just all special, and even I know the game didn't go as we wanted to or planned, but I mean that's an experience that I'll still never will forget, and that I'm forever grateful for. And just knowing that we were playing on national television. Like you turn on ESPN, you're right there, and so all that just kind of added up into joy because I mean I was dreaming of it as a little kid.
So much change going on in the program now. When you
Mm-hmm.
lose a young lady who is one of your best friends in Caitlin
Mm-hmm.
Young, the greatest to ever wear the Murray State jersey, uh, and the other seniors, Ava Learns and Trinity Whites and Jenna Walker's gone, and now it's okay. It's the new. This is what we are without life after Kate in a lot of ways. How has I mean, you're just kind of getting going and going through workouts and so on. But what's the vibe
Mm-hmm.
around the building right now with just this really seismic shift around the program?
I'll be honest, I don't think it's really, hit us as hard, I feel like, as it may in June when we're actually all together and going through workouts, going kind of having those full team practices. But we've been playing pickup, and, Kate, Trin, and Ava have all been, and now we're playing against them. But we were on the same team with them not a few months ago. And so, again, we're not going to be able to replace all the things that they brought to our team. They brought so much, especially Kate, and so you're not gonna go out and find a player that can come in and do play like Kate with a 3-level score as opposed that can go back to the basket, and so all of those aspects that she has, but we're able to adjust in a way that we know we've got to pick up what they brought. And I think, our coaches have done a really good job in the portal. We're excited about the kids that they brought in. And so it's just kind of, we all got to be kind of open to adjusting and being able to get through, what those seniors brought to our team. But I'm full confidence in our team coming up, our coaching staff. So I know that we'll get it figured out. Now, how long it'll take, we'll see, but I do believe we'll get through that. But again, we're not going to be able to replace everything that they brought, but we're going to be able to, put people in spots and change some things to where we can still be successful with what we have coming.
When you came in out of high school, you walked in the door, and that was when Rochelle Turner said, "Hey, we're going to this system, and we're going to play fast, and we're going to press, and we're going to run, and we're going to shoot threes." And now getting ready for year 3 of the system, you're getting for year 3 of college. What has been the biggest transformation, maybe evolution of the system from when it started to where it is now, and maybe where it can still continue to get better for you guys moving forward?
I think it's just having those years of experience in it. We have girls on a team that has went through it multiple years, and we kind of know what to expect now. Like, I know coming in as a freshman, I was kind of like, okay, so how's this whole thing working? Like, I know we're playing fast, and the little perks to it. And so now that we have everyone who has had a few years on their belt with it, it's kind of just like a confident thing with it, and just understanding, and being able to see, what part of it has it been successful, what has not worked, what we have to do for it to work, and what we did that didn't work. So it's just being able to see all that and have those analytics, and having that experience will help us for sure.
I don't want to call it a crisis of confidence, but we have talked plenty, certainly when you started at the college level, and it was kind of
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And then took you a little while and you got your legs under you. And by the end of your freshman year, you were rolling. This year, you averaged 15 points and 6 rebounds and 5 assists, and you're a second team all league player. What has, uh, when you sort of self audit and you're looking at the future now, you've taken a huge leap from year one to year two. What
Mhm.
can you get better at as we go from year two to year three, that you're like, tangibly, this is something I can improve on, and better our team by getting better at that?
Definitely just adding more kind of counter moves to my game. I'm a really, I think on my personal scout, I put myself as a really hard right-handed driver. I can get to the rim, and now it's just people are going to take that away even more, especially when we hit conference season. So, can I get to my spot and pull up and hit those kind of pull ups consistently? Still shooting off the dribble. I gotten a lot better with shooting, stationary catch and shoot threes. My 3-point percentage has increased in that aspect, and I was really looking forward to that, movement coming into the season. And so now it's about, okay, coming off the dribble, can I hit the pull up consistently? Can I hit a three off the ball screen consistently? Not being labeled to just being a driver. Maybe I can drive in Barkley to where I'm not running people over and getting charges in here and there. And so there's still a lot that I know that I can add and get better at. And so that just keeps, being, I'm kind of hard on myself. And so I like to critique myself in a way that I always want to get better. I'm not satisfied with anything. And so I know that there's still growth that I can make.
You and Hallie Polk, the two all league returners, sort of that somebody's running the point, somebody's running the off guard, who whatever it may be, and that's kind of
Mhm.
shifted throughout the year. If you had full decision making priorities in that, which would you rather be? Do you want to be the person, the pusher, as Rochelle Turner says, bringing the ball up the floor, or are you more comfortable trying to fill wings?
Um, we both can do it. I think we both would be like, we really are exchangeable. I feel like towards kind of the end of the year, I was kind of more of the pushing because it gets Hallie up out in space more. So I would say like pushing wise, I was more as the one, so to speak, but we kind of interchange. Whoever gets out going first can fill that role, and usually on makes I'll be the one that would push it up. So it varies, but we're both good at playing in space. We both can interchange, and it got to a point where we were like, all right, whoever's close to just get it, and we can go. So we can really in exchange in that spot.
When someone comes in like a Hallie Polk, coming out of Bradley her freshman year, and now you two, to your point, sort of interchangeable pieces that are mirror images in a lot of the way you
Mhm.
you guys try to play the game. How long did it take for you to feel comfortable on the floor where, all right, she's not having to learn about me, I'm not having to learn about playing with her, where it just felt like, okay, this is now natural, us being out there together?
Definitely in the middle of June, I could tell. Just when we got to just get those reps with each other and just feeling how we play our strengths to each other's games and how we can help each other out. And so in those areas, like once we figure that out, it just kind of naturally happened when games hit. And even like we had to adjust in games because the defense are throwing different stuff at us as well. So just adjusting through that, and we figured it out, and it just naturally happened to where we can pick each other up, help each other out in areas, and it makes it hard on defenses. It really does, having 2-point guards out there, and you just got to pick your poison. So that just helps us even more like get better at playing together.
The middle of June. I mean, that was 2 weeks. You guys figured it out in 2 weeks?
We like got, I would say that's when it started, but I'm saying like when we hit official practices to where we just constantly was going through our team practice reps of we were like going through our offenses, the early transition and all that stuff. That's when we kind of like buckled down and we got a lot more reps in that, but it started in June.
You guys are going to be, I mean, I think just from a standpoint of you're the defending champions, you are the only school in the league that has two all league players returning. You're going to be picked up near the penthouse, whether it's one,
Mm-hmm.
two, wherever it's going to be. And now you have graduated from being the hunter to now being the hunted. How do you think
Mm-hmm.
you as a team and you personally are going to be prepared this summer? And I'm sure it will be a point of emphasis for Coach Turner and the staff. But
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to be prepared to face everybody's best shot every night? Because they know when they walk in to the arena that they're trying to knock off the best team in the league.
Oh, it's definitely going to take, all of the returners to kind of emphasize that within the locker room and making, the people who's coming in understand, this is not, we're trying to accomplish and we're going to try to be the ones to knock people off. And so we're going to be at the top. We're going to have a target on our backs, but, that comes with winning the championship and proving ourselves the way that we did last year. So it's just taking, everything seriously, not, not taking anything off and understanding, the importance of we got a different role this year and that comes with, what we were able to do and getting through those hard games was last year. We kind of felt that target just a little bit, we came in the games and we're expected to win and it wasn't like, well, we're going to give them our best shot. Like we had to come ready to play. And so having that experience already, it's just we got to trickle that into next season and making sure everybody understands, we are the ones that they're going to come at. We're going to get everyone's best shot, like always, and we just got to do what we got to do to get through that and understand the importance of how we can continue to keep doing stuff that's special.
Is it safe to assume that after winning a championship that Coach Turner she's just mellowed out now, settled down a little bit?
Uh, in some areas,
Oh,
she's still chasing, we're never satisfied with anything, so she's still chasing another one. Why we're always talking about now, like, why not get a few more?
there you go.
You get a taste of it, so you just got to keep striving to keep doing it. And so that's kind of where her head's at. We can kind of like, it's like a big relief, but at the same time it's just like we're not done yet, so we got to try to keep chasing for more.
As Tom Brady once said, when asked what his favorite championship was, he said, "It's the next one," and that's what everybody
Exactly.
can go chase. My last question for you: the school year is almost out. The one thing Coach Turner does with you all is she sends you home for a month at some point during the summer. What big plans do we have for summer break?
Definitely going to support my sister as she's starting her travel ball with AAU. She started with playing softball, so she made that switch to basketball. So we'll still be in some gyms, but mostly taking some vacation. But at the same time, you still gotta put in some work because you don't want to come back and be behind in a sense because it, as always, is easy to get out of shape and you just want to come back ready and prepared in the sense. And so just a little make sure of everything, some rest, some work, supporting the fam, and just enjoying the break.
Haven Ford, sophomore guard from the Missouri Valley Conference champion Murray State Racers. Thank you so much for the time today. Good luck with the rest of school for the year here. Finish strong and then enjoy your break, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me.